Hello, everyone.
Hello, Grandmaster.
Today, let's talk about something that can extend life. So, what is it? Some say it's ginseng. Others say it's some kind of powerful tonic. Some say it's some rare plant. Good guesses. It's a kind of plant. You too can guess what it is, right? You both know, but don't reveal it for now, okay? This thing, for Tibetans, is as important as life itself. In the history of China, a long, long time ago, an ancient path was developed just to transport it. This ancient path was extremely dangerous. Firstly, the road was particularly treacherous and rugged. Many times, you have to walk on cliffs by rushing rivers. If it rains and you slip, the riders and horses would both fall into the deep ravines. And sometimes, there were bandits, too. Bandits also targeted this treasure. All humans need this treasure. The tea lies in its value. So that's why it's valued. The roads they traveled on are sparsely populated. It was quite dangerous in places. There were wild animals like wolves, tigers, and leopards. These wild animals were there to prey on the people. So it was extremely perilous. That's troublesome. Any questions?
Yes. This ancient path. What was it used for, Grandmaster? Many years ago. Was it a route connecting one place to another?
All right, I'll reveal this ancient path now. It went from Lhasa, Tibet, and goes all the way through the Sichuan province to the interior of mainland China. Then to the province of Yunnan.
I see, from Tibet to Yunnan.
It's historically known as the ancient tea horse road.
Its purpose was to transport tea.
Yes, why is it called tea horse? Well, I have lived in Tibet before. The Tibetan staple food is different than us. How different? Tibet is located in a plateau region. Plateau regions have two characteristics. First, oxygen is relatively scarce, and the altitude is quite high. It's not suitable for crops. Fruits, wheat, and vegetables grow in low-altitude areas. You don't find them in Tibet. There is a suitable altitude for them. In fact, many issues arise at high altitudes. For example, electronic lighters, or even electric cars, at altitudes above 4,000 meters, may not work well. At 5,000 meters, they might not run at all. I mean, they might not, unless people conduct an experiment on this. Otherwise, they might face problems, like electric cars in the US during heavy snow and cold. They also don't run. In these high-altitude areas, many things don't work well. There are no crops, no plants. What do the locals eat then? They can herd sheep. Sheep run at altitudes of 3,000 to 4,000 meters. Their staple food is beef and mutton.
Yes, they mainly eat meat.
In many countries we visited, vegetables are cheaper than meat, right?
Yes.
Why is that?
More common, right?
They're easily grown. In places where they grow vegetables and grains, meat is scarce. Rarity makes things valuable. But in Tibet, parts of Qinghai, and Mongolia, many places are high and cold. There are fewer grains and vegetables. Therefore, their main food is meat. Meat is not easily digested, even for the Tibetans. So, digestion problems shorten their lifespan. Imagine eating the meat and not being able to digest it.
Too much fat. There are no vegetable fibers to aid digestion. They probably eat a lot of beef, mutton, and dairy products. Yes. They consume a lot of high-calorie, high-fat foods every day.
We've heard about high blood sugar, high cholesterol, and high blood pressure. If fat accumulates in our bodies, it clogs our intestines and blood vessels. This leads to some serious health issues. Like what? The aforementioned 3 highs, of course. In severe cases, if it accumulates too much, it can cause heart attacks and strokes.
Yes, those are the possible severe outcomes. I did some simple online research. It seems that many years ago in Tibet, they often suffered from chronic diseases related to cardiovascular and cerebrovascular diseases.
This is likely closely related to their diet.
Yes, too much fat, leading to poor digestion. And then, at high altitudes, there are no vegetables.
Is this why they transport tea?
That's right. The people in Tibet, whether in Tibet, Mongolia, or some parts of Europe, always eat meat, but they can't really digest it. The fats from the meat clog many parts of our bodies, like the liver and the cardiovascular system. Just the 3 highs alone can shorten lifespan. In Tibet, there's a saying: you can go 3 days without meat, but not a single day without tea. Yes. So if you don't drink tea, your food won't digest properly.
Your body will feel very uncomfortable.
Everything is stuck.
You'd feel bloated and uncomfortable. The ancient tea horse road was used to transport tea from Yunnan to Tibet. Is that right, Grandmaster?
Yes, from certain regions in Yunnan, China. It's a major tea-producing area. After processing, the tea is compressed into bricks, cakes, or balls. Once packaged, it was transported there. In ancient times, there were no cars. That area couldn't be reached by ship, only by land. So they relied on mules and horses for transport. So, the ancient tea horse road was actually a tea transporting and trading route, used mainly by horses. They used horses, mules, and maybe even donkeys. People also said that tea was transported to Tibet. But what came back from there was horses. Mainland China is agricultural. It doesn't have horses. They transported horses back from Tibet. Yes, but that's not all they brought back. There were other things people needed, like wool. What else do you think came out of Tibet?
Beef, lamb, and butter?
The mainlanders probably don't know what butter is. Leather.
Gems.
Gold. The gold from Tibet is very pure. And gems.
And medicinal herbs, right?
Yes, and medicinal herbs. What's the most famous medicinal herb you know?
Caterpillar fungus?
Right, That's also a specialty of Tibet.
This was a very important trade route at that time. It was to transport tea, which is crucial for the health of Tibetans. Our topic today is its longevity benefits. The tea back then was likely Pu'er tea from Yunnan. Right, Grandmaster? This Pu'er tea truly helped the Tibetan people. It provided better protection for their health.
Yes, very important.
Grandmaster. We know tea is very important for the people in Tibet because of their harsh living conditions. What about people in other regions? Does tea have the same important role for them?
Its contribution to humanity is immense. To put it simply, tea is not a medicine, but it is a supplement for overall health. During the Tang Dynasty in China, there was an ancient medical book called A Supplement to Materia Medica. It's written by Dr. Chen Zongqi. According to Dr. Chen, each medicine has its own use, but tea is a remedy for all ailments. Do you understand?
Each medicine targets a specific disease, but tea can potentially help with many ailments.
Yes, so my feeling is that it actually assists us in achieving health. It's a very comprehensive ingredient. It's a food because we consume it. Let's not waste time on what it is, whether it's food or a beverage. Whether it's food or a beverage, we can call it all food. It's all edible. Ancient people even ate tea. In ancient times, people ate tea. Tea ceremony in Japan has a practice of adding hot water to tea powder.
Then, drink it.
Right. Now, the Chinese also uses a small brush to mix their tea, but they don't quite get it right. They don't understand the use of tea powder in the past. In the Song dynasty, many beautiful tea bowls were produced. The ancients used to say, eat tea, not drink tea. In the past, tea was scooped using a spoon. Some mixtures can be made very thick.
Yes, like soup.
Yes, like a thick porridge. Right, you need a spoon for that. It's the drier kind of tea. Tea is something that brings comprehensive benefits to the body. So it's very important. What are its benefits? Let's briefly go through this. Modern people do a lot of mental work, but have little physical activity. In the past, there was more physical labor. China was an agricultural society. Most people worked in the fields. It was all physical labor. So, no matter how fatty their food was, it was quickly burned off through physical exertion. It quickly digested. I went to Singapore once. They introduced me to a local specialty called bak kut teh.
Right.
It's a stew made entirely of pork bone stock.
It's a high-calorie dish.
High in fat, too.
People who are a bit overweight shouldn't eat it. I learned about the creation of this dish. Singapore is a port city. In the past, there were workers loading and unloading in ports. In Singapore, sweating profusely is common because of the heat. That's how it is. After a day of physical labor, you'd be exhausted.
It consumes a lot of energy.
If the workers ate stewed meat for lunch and dinner, will it clog their heart and brain vessels? No, it won't. Due to their workload, food is easily digested. Modern people have less physical activity.
Most sit in the office all day, barely moving.
They eat good food, too, but not much physical activity. So, digestion happens slower. What does this cause?
We often talk about the 3 highs, right? They are very common and harmful to our health, even life-threatening. High blood pressure, high cholesterol, and high blood sugar. They bring many dangers. First, as we mentioned, the most severe is myocardial infarction. This is the blockage of the coronary arteries, which can lead to death. There's also a risk of stroke. Right, and to a lesser extent, high cholesterol can lead to fatty liver. If that becomes severe, it turns into cirrhosis. Liver cancer is also possible. High blood sugar can lead to diabetes and hypertension. Yes, it can also cause blindness.
And sometimes it leads to amputation.
Yes, it can also lead to kidney failure.
Many chronic diseases are actually caused by the three highs.
So they are very harmful to health. Is tea effective for preventing it? The Tibetans' three highs are due to their diet, right?
There is an ancient book, a Chinese medicine book. Most often, it is the materia medica that's mentioned. Doctors throughout the ages wrote supplements to this book, with the approval of the royal emperor. It says that tea, its most important feature is its ability to digest substances. What does it mean? Digest, like dissolving. There are records of this, especially regarding beef and lamb, which ancient people described as toxic. We call it heady today.
Right, heady foods.
Chinese people have three understandings of toxins. One is a straightforward, deadly poison. Anyone who consumes it will die. For example, arsenic. It kills when it reaches a certain amount. All poisons are lethal at a certain dose, right? Many important cancer treatments today and Western medicine formulas contain straightforward poisons. As I mentioned, arsenic. It's present in all cancer treatment drugs. Just a small amount, combined with other ingredients, can treat diseases.
It kills cancer cells.
Yes, but these drugs are considered straightforward poisons. What does traditional Chinese medicine consider as poisons? Think about it.
Could it be things that can cause the body to become ill? It could be moisture, also called damp toxin. Yes, and heat, which makes the body overheats, it's called heat toxin.
Heat energy.
Yes, it is internal heat, right? And cold can also cause toxins that harm the body and cause illness. Anything that can trigger such factors can be called toxins. That's how it's described in the Materia Medica. It says that Pu'er tea is the best at digesting substances. It can relieve the greasiness and toxins from beef and lamb. It can alleviate the heat, phlegm, and dampness caused by eating beef and lamb. All these can lead to inflammation, colds, and constipation. All these can result in severe blockages and cause other diseases. Pu'er tea can also cleanse the intestines. It removes excess fat from the body, dissolving it away.
When I see TCM doctors, they'd say if you feel pain or are ill, it's because something is blocked.
They say, if there's pain, there's a block. Right.
Pu'er tea can help resolve this, which is great.
All will flow smoothly in your body, and the bad energy will dissipate. Then it won't become an illness. Yes, in TCM it is said that phlegm, dampness, stasis, and turbidity can all become causes of diseases. They lead to cardiovascular diseases. Pu'er tea can dissolve these phlegm, dampness, and blockages. It is truly very beneficial to health.
No wonder those Tibetans risk their lives to transport the tea over.
It's not only beneficial to the Tibetan people, but actually very helpful to everyone. Shanka, do you love drinking tea?
I didn't like it very much back then, I preferred sweet stuff. I still feel that sometimes tea tastes a bit bitter.
Yes, but with a lingering sweetness. Grandmaster, does this bitterness in tea have any special effects?
In traditional Chinese medicine, everything has a color, smell, and taste property. Bitterness can extinguish heat. Bitter gourds reduce heat, right? And tea leaves, too.
So bitterness is very good for treating fire.
Sometimes, when we feel unwell, we say we're heaty. Then we'll have headaches or mouth ulcers. Once you become heaty, you get sick. Being able to reduce internal heat is quite good.
Yes, getting angry, red eyes, red lips. Yellowing hair, dizziness, high blood pressure, constipation.
These all are signs of internal heat.
It needs to be extinguished for you to stay healthy. Yes, and after long working hours, it also accumulates internal stress. It needs to be extinguished too.
The modern lifestyle makes people particularly prone to internal heat. Many jobs involve prolonged sitting and staying up late. Then, they eat late-night snacks, sometimes fried food, or other hard-to-digest things. This really adds fuel to the fire. Sometimes, emotions can also cause internal heat. Grandmaster, some people have excessive liver heat. They often get angry easily and lose their temper.
According to an ancient Chinese medical book, the Yellow Emperor's Inner Canon says that all diseases arise from qi. Yes, think about it. Anger harms the liver, and joy harms the heart. Overthinking harms the spleen, worry harms the lungs, and fear harms the kidneys. Whether it's happiness, fear, or sadness, they all harm the body.
So excessive emotions are also bad for the body.
I have a question. We say that tea can reduce internal heat, but some people are quite thin. They have a cool constitution. They have more cold energy. They might often have diarrhea. Is it suitable for them to drink tea?
Yes, it is. For people who are relatively thin and have weak spleen and stomach, I recommend a type of tea. It's called Right Pour tea. Due to its processing method, the cooling properties in the tea is greatly reduced. The tea itself can still nourish the spleen and stomach. It promotes digestion. Using this Right Pour tea is better. If you apply this logic further, Raw Pour tea can also be used. Raw Pour tea is best aged for a few years. Aged for 5 to 7 years is better.
The longer it is aged, the better. Is the old pour tea aged raw pour tea?
Yes, there's no exact definition of old. It's not about aging it for 70 years. You might not even live for 70 years yourself. Usually, anything aged for several years is considered old.
Those with weak stomachs should drink ripe pu'er or raw pu'er aged for at least 5 years. It will be very beneficial for their health. Grandmaster, you once said that the ripe pu'er tea is very good for nourishing the stomach. For people who used to have stomach acid reflux, they become depressed easily. But drinking a bit of our Bodhi-ripe Pu-erh tea regularly was very effective in treating stomach acid reflux.
I've had many illnesses. For example, I had it too as a child. Just a few years ago, 4 years ago, I tried a medicine recommended by the Buddha when he was alive. It's called myrobalan. That round object carried by the Buddha, that's it. I tried it. I wondered what benefits it had, so I took it for 3 consecutive days. After 3 days, one day, it was actually sunny, but I felt the world was so dark. I was feeling particularly depressed. I quickly searched for the reason. It was because I took much myrobalan. I ate too much and hurt my stomach. It caused excessive stomach acid. Once there's too much stomach acid, your nervous system reacts the way I described. People that are rather depressed usually have excess stomach acid or poor digestion. That's the reason. For these people, drinking Pu-erh tea can brighten up their mood. That's how it is.
Awesome.
Right, Pu-erh tea works. It helps people see sunshine and hope. Right. Depression stems from a physiological unhealthiness, causing a false perception in your mind. It feels like life is suddenly all wrong.
Take care of your stomach, and your mood and body will be good.
Our feelings come from our physical state.
They influence each other.
So acid reflux is really not a good thing.
I remember that Pu-erh tea also aids digestion. Sometimes we might overeat, and afterward, our body feels uncomfortable and bloated. It seems like nothing is digesting. Then we can't sleep. At this time, drinking a cup of warm, ripe Pu-erh can help promote our digestion. Ripe Pu-erh tea also helps with excretion. Previously, we mentioned that it prevents constipation.
Grandmaster mentioned it contains many beneficial probiotics. Probiotics are quite important.
Our digestive system benefits from digestionating probiotics. Nowadays, when people experience bloating, they look for gastric medicine. But we don't need to buy probiotics because our Pu-erh tea contains natural probiotics, which are healthier.
Actually, just drinking tea every day is enough. Grandmaster, I also heard that tea leaves have certain detoxifying effects on the human body. Is that true?
Yes. In the medical book, Shenong's Herbal Classics, it is written that Shenong tasted hundreds of herbs, including 72 poisonous ones. And in the end, he used tea to neutralize the poison.
That's amazing.
Isn't it fascinating? I remember when I was in Qinghai, which is a neighboring province of Tibet. The locals love to drink because it's cold. You can often see drunkards lying on the ground. It's very common. Then the locals told me to give tea to those who are drunk. The only tea available locally is Pu-erh tea. After drinking alcohol, they drink Pu-erh tea. Yes, several large cups of Pu-erh tea. It detoxifies and sobers you up.
I even looked it up online. It says that Pu-erh tea contains a substance that helps us quickly metabolize the harmful substances produced by alcohol in the body. These substances are quickly expelled. The tea also contains polyphenol and theanine. They protect our liver cells. Drinking too much alcohol damages the liver, so drinking tea is really good.
Yes, it detoxifies.
Yes, and not just alcohol. In our daily lives. In places with a lot of industrial or agricultural activity, the water might contain more heavy metals. These heavy metals, like lead and mercury, if ingested in excess, can affect our nervous system and our kidneys.
Yes, heavy metal poisoning.
Yes, it's like being poisoned. Drinking more tea is beneficial. Tea contains a component called tannin. It can bind with heavy metals, making them less absorbable by our bodies. This way, they can be excreted through urine or feces, removing them from the body. So tea truly has excellent detoxifying effects.
Yes, I remember reading a story. It said that tea was introduced to England, and the English loved afternoon tea. At that time, workers at docks in England worked in unsanitary environments. They often ate poorly and were prone to diseases. So they drank a lot of alcohol. They drank a lot of alcohol back then to avoid getting sick. It was quite hard to go to work every day. Eventually, tea was introduced and they started drinking tea instead of alcohol. They drank tea before work every day. It ensured their gut health. At the same time, they felt energized. Unlike going to work drunk after drinking alcohol, drinking tea helps with detoxification. It's extremely beneficial.
Indeed it is.
Nowadays, Grandmaster, people use computers, look at screens, and use phones. These devices emit radiation. They are used extensively. From children to the elderly, everyone uses them. Does tea help with radiation resistance and protection?
I believe it does. We are not insisting on promoting tea. We are not tea merchants. We don't need to exaggerate its benefits. This is really how it is. We will explain the scientific principles later. I have tested it. I rely on intuition. I am intuitive. In the past, TVs were so thick, with glass screens, 20 to 30 years ago. If you got close, long hair would be attracted to it.
Oh, static electricity.
The static was so strong, it was actually radiation. When you used the TV for 3 hours, you would feel uncomfortable. Yes, and restless, too. Your heartbeat would be irregular.
And you couldn't sleep well.
There was a child who couldn't go to school. Their family was relatively wealthy and bought a TV. The child sat in front of the TV every day. After watching for 4 hours every day, his eyes became strained. The kid couldn't read at school anymore. He was always drowsy and slept less. A doctor told them it's a kind of disorder. There was no solution, so they sought my master. Coincidentally, someone had given my master some tea. So, my master gave them some blessed tea leaves. He told them to boil the leaves and let the kid drink at least 3 large pots of tea every day. The kid was also told to exercise and don't catch cold. His mom would exercise with him. In 3 to 5 days, he felt better and returned to school. So drinking tea can help with the radiation and discomfort from electronic devices. It might have a relieving or detoxifying effect.
This is really important. These days, people are exposed to a lot of electronics. So we are often in high radiation environments. Science explains that constant exposure to radiation causes your body to produce something called free radicals.
What are free radicals?
Free radicals can be understood as something that damages our cells. It's like an enemy that invades our body and goes on to attack regular cells. With the damage done to our cells, it will be reflected in our appearance as well.
If a person frequently works in such environments, they show earlier signs of aging.
Yes, premature aging. That's what you can see on the surface. Imagine if it damages the cells of your internal organs. Your whole body would age.
It'll shorten your lifespan.
Yes, it does. Moreover, it damages the DNA in our cells. Damaged DNA makes the cells prone to genetic mutations. They say that in an environment with excessive free radicals, cancer is more likely to develop.
That's really bad.
Tea contains a component called tea polyphenol. Tea polyphenol are excellent antioxidants. Antioxidants can eliminate free radicals. Look at the kid Grandmaster told just now. Drinking more tea can really help us. It can eliminate these harmful stuff and remove the damage caused by free radicals. So they say drinking more tea helps with anti-aging, anti-cancer, antioxidation, and radiation protection.
It's scientifically proven.
Good.
In the past, before we invented toothbrushes and toothpaste, I read in books that people used to gargle to salt water or tea. Is tea beneficial for oral health? Yes, it is quite helpful.
Actually, oral health is connected to the spleen and stomach. Usually, bad breath and other oral health issues may be related to spleen and stomach diseases. Right.
That's just the outcome of bad stomach health.
Yes, that means when the toxins in your spleen, stomach, and liver reach a certain level, your teeth will start to decay. I met a drug addict 30 years ago. He was also 30 years old. At 30, he had lost all his teeth.
So young, yet all his teeth were gone.
He practiced with us for 2 years. He grew 4 new teeth.
Yes, like a dead tree coming back to life.
Awesome.
Incredible.
I know many people. His wife told me that if I hadn't helped him, she would have jumped off a building. She couldn't face having a drug addict husband. He lost all his teeth and looked like an old man. The whole family was addicted to drugs. All the money they made from business was wasted. This is the first story about teeth. When I was young, I conducted an experiment. Once, I had a toothache. I felt that this tooth, the one on the right side under the molar, seemed to be protruding upwards. Whenever I bit down, it hurt terribly. My master said it was due to internal heat. So, what was the solution? There was a solution. My master drank tea every day. In fact, everyone did back then. We used to make butter tea. So, after brewing the tea leaves for 30 minutes, my master scooped out the leaves, chanted some spells and drew symbols on them. He asked me to stuff my mouth with the leaves, keep them on the aching part. My mouth was stuffed like that. I chanted silently because I couldn't open my mouth. After about 2 hours, I felt like the pain was gone. My master asked me to leave the leaves in my mouth for longer. So, 2 more hours later, the swelling was also healed.
It went down.
The feeling of the tooth protruding disappeared.
The inflammation subsided.
My master also said gargling with tea. And drink 2 cups of it, get rid of garlicky breath. Not just the smell, but the heat from garlic and onion as well. Later, I had some skin infection problems. I used tea as remedy, too. I used green tea leaves, Tiguanyin works too. I soaked the leaves in water, then chewed it a bit. That's how my master did it. So I did the same. Then, I applied the chewed leaves and bandaged it. After 2 days, the flesh healed.
It can also promote growth and wound healing.
This is mentioned in the ancient book, Supplements to Compendium of Materia Medica. Mouth ulcers, sore throats, oral infections, etc. They are all considered cold-related issues. My master has never read this book. The doctors in Tibet recommended treatments using tea leaves, too. At that time, there was only raw tea leaves. The leaves were stuffed in mouth for overnight, or 4 to 5 or 7 to 8 hours. That's how they treated oral issues.
That's how your toothache was treated, too, Grandmaster.
The method is almost the same.
We've also found some scientific information about tea leaves. Tea trees are rich in an element called fluoride. As we know, toothpaste contains fluoride.
And many countries add it to their water.
They add a bit of this to strengthen the enamel of our teeth. It makes it more robust, and it enhances its acid resistance. Drinking tea regularly actually helps to improve the quality of our teeth. It works.
We've also learned that drinking more tea can actually prevent colds.
Yes, this was a common method we used as children. Many elders, not just my master, especially those on the plateau, would recommend this. If you have symptoms like a sore throat, headache, or dizziness, a stiff neck that you can't turn, these are signs that a cold is coming. This is what we call a cold. When you experienced any of the above, that's it, you're going to catch a cold. That's what these elders would say. Again, you drink tea. The local plateau Pu'er tea is very strong. It's very concentrated. So, you drink several large pots of it. Then you stay at home and sweat. When you start drinking, you might only sweat from your head or legs. Other parts of your body might not sweat. How much should you drink? Until your channels are cleared, and you'll sweat profusely. See, drinking Pu'er tea can prevent colds. Also, it clears the meridians.
Yes, it clears the meridians.
Right, once the meridians are clear, the cold is gone. Interesting, isn't it?
It essentially prevents colds. When a person is particularly tired, after a long and exhausting day of work, drinking a few cups of strong Pu'er tea will clear the meridians throughout the body, and the fatigue will quickly disappear.
Yes, preventing colds and relieving fatigue are related. They're related. But the methods to treat are slightly different. When I was in the Qinghai Tibet Plateau, after doing hard labor work, people would drink tea and eat dry food halfway to replenish energy. In this case, different tea is brewed. There's another tea, milk tea. When brewing Pu'er tea, a bit of milk and some salt were added. Why salt? The locals all know that adding salt gives you strength. Salt can kill bacteria, and it also boosts strength. As for milk and tea, they help to keep your meridians clear. Milk also aids in clearing meridians, and it provides energy to some people. That's how it's done. So, drinking salted milk tea and eating dry food help to quickly regain their strength. In just 20 to 30 minutes, the workers' energy were restored.
Then, they could continue working.
Yes, if you look at Europe, there's also a lot of milk tea. In India, they drink milk tea every day. It's all for quickly replenishing energy.
Master, I have a question. When we drink tea, is there a difference between drinking hot tea and cold tea?
There is a difference, although it's still the same tea. Do you feel the same drinking cold tea and hot tea?
Not exactly.
Not exactly. The benefits and harms are also different, right?
Right.
The key is that humans, as animals, should they consume cold or hot food? Think about it this way.
Warm food, warm drinks.
Our body temperature is around 36 to 37 degrees, right? Freezing food's temperature is not like our body temperature.
Sometimes, when it's really hot, you want to drink some iced tea. Then, you feel cooler, right? But inside, it's a bit different. But after drinking warm tea, you feel very comfortable, like you could fall asleep.
Yes, usually cold drinks make you thirstier. It's better to drink something slightly warm. If the weather is hot, your drinking water doesn't need to be cold. That quenches your thirst better. If it's a bit warm, it quenches thirst quickly. This reminds me of something. I met a young man in Malaysia. He was in his 20s. Something happened right in front of me. Want to hear it? Of course, you're curious, right? He was eating noodles with us, hot noodles. There was an ice cream shop nearby. He was eating meat and drinking iced water. Then we heard a cracking sound. It was like some kind of shattering sound. What happened? He broke a tooth.
Scary.
It's true, this happened 6 or 7 years ago. How did it break?
It was the transition from hot to cold that made the tooth brittle.
Let me first talk about the cold. The damage it causes is significant. People who eat cold food long term, whom I could tell at a glance. If you're a woman, it affects future fertility and your personal sense of happiness. During your menstrual periods, you'd feel very uncomfortable. That's from drinking too many cold beverages. To make more profit, cold beverages are loaded with ice. For example, fruit teas.
There is a lot of sugar in them.
When I dine at restaurants in the West, I was served iced water. Half of the cups were filled with ice. Then they add cold water into the cups. Drinking it is bad for your health. It's better to drink warm tea. After eating lots of meat and high-fat foods. If you want tea to benefit your body, you must drink hot tea for it to be effective. Otherwise, it has negative effects.
Thank you, Grandmaster.
Nowadays, young people, when they feel sleepy after long hours of work or study, they need to drink something to keep them awake.
Coffee?
But actually, I think drinking tea is also quite helpful for refreshing the mind, Grandmaster.
For this, tea drinkers would say yes. Green tea, for example, Tiguanyin, and what else? For Chinese green tea, the most famous green tea in spring, what is it called? Longjing. Maoqian. Yes, something like that. Then there's southern tea like Tiguanyin, which is considered a semi-fermented tea. The caffeine content in this is quite high. If you drink it in the morning, say 2 cups, you won't feel sleepy all day. For thinner people, I estimate you won't sleep even the next night. It contains caffeine. A lot of caffeine, which can be harmful. However, Pu'er tea usually has a different processing method. One of the steps, for example, is sun drying. Also steaming, drying, steaming, and storing. In these processes, the caffeine content in the tea leaves was reduced. This aged Pu'er tea, whether it's ripe or raw, has less caffeine. So, to refresh and clear your mind or dissolve fat, drinking Pu'er tea is a safer option. For those who feel a bit sleepy in the afternoon, drink slightly stronger tea. Just a small cup will do. Its effect is quite similar to that of coffee in waking you up.
That's true. I remember reading about it too. Caffeine can help us increase our attention and alertness. But tea also contains an element called theanine.
This element can help relax and balance the brain.
It can balance out the stimulating effects of caffeine. So tea itself is a very good beverage that can calm you and also keep you alert. Aged Pu'er tea is better, as it is gentler.
There was a famous doctor given the title of the King of Medicine by the Emperor. His name was Sun Xinyao. He wrote a book called Essential Formulas Worth 1,000 Gold. In this book, it says that tea, when consumed regularly, gives strength and joy. It provides energy, vitality, and a sense of happiness. That's how it is. As I mentioned earlier about tea, adding a bit of milk and salt enhances its effects. The ancient Chinese knew about this.
Therefore, many old Taoists and meditation masters loved drinking tea. They also lived long lives.
Look at the Taoists in Western China. Which Taoist west of Xi'an doesn't drink tea? Each one is a tea master, exceptionally skilled in tea drinking. Their tea drinking keeps them lean, but they live very long lives. Many Taoist priests, even in their 80s, climb mountains. Young people in their 20s almost cry when climbing, but the old priests run up swiftly. I saw this with my own eyes. Did they say tea helps them? I can't say for sure, but they are all tea experts. Their bodies are vigorous, and their eyes are bright. But they are very thin.
Healthy.
Swift-footed. I think drinking tea might help them. Because drinking tea regularly prevents weight gain.
Thanks for enlightening us about tea today, Master. Tea can bring benefits to people. It offers many health benefits.
Really, a lot.
It nourishes the spleen and stomach, which are the foundation of good health. It also nourishes the liver and kidneys. It benefits all internal organs. Importantly, it can lower the 3 highs and burn fat. It can prevent and treat diseases, and also boost energy and calm the mind. It's a treasure that can help us live longer. Since it benefits our health, and so many meditation masters drink it. Can tea help people achieve enlightenment?
Tea itself cannot bring enlightenment. But as mentioned earlier, tea can clear the mind, aid digestion, increase energy, and reduce greasiness. What does this imply?
When the body is clear, one naturally becomes calm. The mind won't be so agitated, right? Yes, it's easier to settle down when meditating. We've been told that unhealthy eating habits make it harder for us to calm down.
Yes, it's harder to focus.
You also overthink. But if you drink tea regularly, your body will be in a very comfortable state, and your mind will find it easier to settle down. When you're calm, you gain wisdom easily.
Definitely. I remember Master once said that too much oily foods causes our body to be clogged, which affects our thinking and wisdom.
Absolutely. Too greasy. It's even worse if one has constipation. They can't even sit quietly, let alone meditating.
They're constantly angry. It's hard to calm down like this.
I remember Master also told us that there were certain requirements, such as not eating greasy food, onions or garlic, and many other things, like avoiding frequent attendance at banquets,
Which can cause emotional swings.
and make one easily irritable. Before meditating, try to avoid these activities. Drinking tea can help reduce internal heat, making it easier to achieve tranquility, which leads to wisdom.
Right. If you are going to meditate properly, there are certain requirements for you. The first is diet. The second is behavior. Regarding diet, you can't eat foods that cause internal heat. What causes internal heat?
Fried foods, meat, spicy foods,
Too much sugar and sweets as well.
yes, and generally very dry foods too.
Eating too much also makes digestion difficult.
If the food isn't light enough, it causes internal heat.
I read about why tea was introduced to Japan. It was actually because of the monks. Yes, many monks relied on drinking tea to help them stay alert and aided in their practice.
It helped them enter the meditative state.
So you see, drinking tea not only has many health benefits, but it also brings peace to our minds. It makes us wiser as well. So it's truly beneficial for our body, mind, and spirit.
I still remember the story of Master Zhaozhou. There were two monks seeking advice from Master Zhaozhou. Then Master Zhaozhou first asked the first monk if he'd been there before. The first monk said yes. Then Master Zhaozhou said, "Go have some tea." Then, he asked the second monk the same question. The second monk said no. Then, Master Zhaozhou replied the same, "Go have some tea." There, the temple supervisor was puzzled. How come Master Zhaozhou replied them the same way when they gave different answers? There, Master Zhaozhou, with the duster in his hand, hit the supervisor and told him, "Go have some tea." Yes, what does that imply?
To the three people. Does it mean something different?
Yes, Shanka, can you explain?
Was Master Zhaozhou too lazy to entertain them?
Like, shooing them away?
Maybe.
A more polite way of saying, "Go away." Maybe he was asking them to practice harder.
That could be. This is also a very famous story. Everyone is familiar with it.
Maybe he was asking them to drink some tea to calm down. And then, they'd have answers for their questions.
The same answer, but with different implications.
We can only guess, because there is no clear explanation. Go have tea, what does it mean? Scientifically speaking, it should have something to do with drinking tea to calm down.
Calming down can give rise to wisdom. It might make it easier for you to achieve enlightenment.
Then the monks might find what they wanted to know.
Tea truly offers not only health benefits, by allowing our bodies to be clear and pure, but it also helps us meditate better, enter a state of purity, and gain wisdom.
Thus, tea and Zen are one.
There is such a saying. About our poor tea, I remember we're told that it actually gets better with age. The longer it is kept, the better it gets, right?
Yes, very few things are like that.
Yes, I haven't heard of any other tea like this. Only poor tea gets better with age. Tea aged for 3 years is medicine, 7 years is treasure, and 10 years is the treasure of treasures. I believe, with time, as time passes, it continues to naturally ferment. The fermentation process brings out more medicinal qualities in the tea.
Aged tea is a treasure. We also have some aged tea on cibain.com. We have younger teas, like the ripe and raw Pu'er tea from 2016 and 2018. Also, the Yunduan Pu'er tea from 2008. It's been over 10 years since then. This truly is a treasure among treasures. Moreover, these teas not only have great health benefits, but they are also blessed by Master. They carry the Master's most beautiful blessings and wishes.
As the Medicine Buddha's birthday approaches, we are very grateful that Master has specially blessed a batch of our Bodhi Pu'er tea. You could smell the fragrance of these tea leaves by just standing near them. With Master's blessings, they will definitely benefit their destined owner.
Thank you, Master.
Our centers will gradually receive them. Do visit our centers soon, as they come in with limited quantity. Our Pu'er tea is actually very organic. Right, Shanka?
Once, a reputable university in Taiwan sampled some teas for testing, including our tea samples. They tested for 400 types of agricultural toxins,
Such as pesticide residues and heavy metals.
Yes, they tested our tea, without any of these substances. So it's exceptionally clean and of high quality.
It couldn't be more organic, right?
And it carries Master's best blessings and empowerment. So, everyone, hurry to your nearest center to get a cake of Pu'er tea.
It's even better if you can afford to get more.
Store and let them age. I remember there were some recipes.
Pu'er tea is actually very versatile, as it can be paired with different ingredients.
For example, the liver-soothing and eye-brightening tea. It's made with Pu'er tea, red dates, goji berries, and chrysanthemum. Because of liver heat, we often have dry mouth and tongue, and blurry vision. Too much heat and we lose our temper easily. Drinking this tea can help reduce liver heat and balance it out. It's also good for the stomach and clears the eyes.
Many of our followers consider it essential, a household staple. And they drink it often.
The ingredients are common, and it's very easy to make. It's very good for the body.
For those with a cold constitution, Pu-erh tea can be paired with warming ingredients like red dates and goji berries. This can warm up our bodies, soothe our stomachs, and replenish our energy. It's very helpful. And if the body is particularly cold, red dates can also be roasted over an open flame. This enhances their energy replenishing effect.
Some tea houses also serve chrysanthemum Pu-erh tea.
We often order that. It's Pu-erh tea with chrysanthemum, right?
Yes, if you have a bit of heat, you can make this combination. Our previous live stream was about constipation. If you have trouble with bowel movements, drink a cup of warm Pu-erh tea every morning. Then add a drop of sesame oil and a pinch of salt. It can quickly help us with bowel movements, making us feel comfortable all day.
Can Pu-erh tea also be used as a face mask? Actually, we're also told about this. If you have spots or pimples on your face, there's no need to spend money on expensive face masks. Just brew a pot of strong Pu-erh tea, then use slightly thicker kitchen towels. Soak them in the tea, and then leave it on your face for 10 to 15 minutes. If you do this regularly, your skin will become very delicate and fair.
It removes spots and beautifies, yes. Also, the tea we have now is usually made into tea cakes. This is for easier transportation and storage. Before brewing for drinking, what kind of preparation is needed?
Preparation as in,
Break it into small pieces.
just break it apart. This can be a challenge for some people.
Because our tea cakes are of exceptional quality,
I made a short video for everyone.
Pour ripe tea. Flat side up, convex side down. Press the tea cake in a circular motion. Elevate the tea cake. Continue pressing. Or use a hammer to break it. It's safer to do this on the ground. Open the packaging. Break the tea cake into large pieces. Use a flathead screwdriver to pry it into pieces. Break the pieces into smaller chunks. After that, put them into a transparent jar. The jar's lid doesn't need to be sealed.
This is roughly the method. Using a screwdriver is the cleaner way. So it's the safest way. With a little prying and bending, it will break up. You may also use your hands. Then store in a clean container. Glass jars or ceramic containers are fine. The lid can be left open. We call this waiting the tea. Our tea has been stored for a long time. So, before brewing, it's better to let it have more contact with air.
Thank you, Master, for filming such a detailed video. Actually, after watching, it's easy to understand. Master, for those who have bought more tea cakes, if they want to store them longer too, make them more fragrant and rich, what is the best way to store them?
First, let's talk about storing poor tea. It depends on how much you have. Storing 1 or 2 cakes is easier. It's usually wrapped in paper. Do not cover it with a plastic bag. And do not put it in a jar. The tea leaves need to breathe. They could breathe if wrapped in paper. In terms of storage environments, any general living environment will do, like a bedroom or living room. Or in North America, you may even store it in the garage.
Any place with good ventilation is fine.
In places like the eastern part of North America, it gets quite cold in winter.
Yes.
And hot in summer. Is such a temperature difference okay for tea?
I think it's beneficial for the tea. The fluctuating temperatures might make the tea's aroma stronger. Its quality could improve.
Great, Master. As for poor tea, we know it absorbs odors, so ventilation is crucial. Just don't put it in places with strong smells, right?
Yes, for example, shoe cabinets or bathrooms. The bathroom smell will go into the tea. That's how it is. Tea leaves absorb odors. So don't store tea in places with strange smells. Someone once told me a story. He bought several boxes, $40 each, to store his tea leaves. His house was small, so he moved all the boxes to his fishery company. He thought it'd be fine as they were all sealed in boxes. So, he moved the boxes to the fish warehouse. 2 years later, he decided to take one out to brew. It tasted just like fish soup. Yes, very strong fishy smell.
Poor tea with salted fish aroma.
This won't do. Don't store it in plastic bags. It gets moldy in it. It needs air circulation. When I store it, I use paper. Now it's cardboard boxes. I make a few big holes in the boxes. I hope air can pass through. This is safer. If it's completely sealed, it might get moldy.
Thank you, Master, for the reminder.
As for loose tea leaves, we keep them in a glass bottle or a porcelain bottle. These types of containers are better, not plastic ones.
There are also some clay jars.
Yes, not in plastic containers, please. I don't care how expensive they are. Plastic itself can decompose. Do you know what decomposes it? Sunlight and air. Actually, many people are not aware. Bottled water, for example. Few people check the production date when they drink it. Ordinary mineral water, if stored for 3 years, then you shouldn't drink it. It might contain some plastic substance in it. Yes, dissolved plastic. Our naked eyes can't see it.
It's very harmful to the body.
Yes, and it can't be expelled from our body easily.
It can also enter the bloodstream. It is toxic. So don't store food in plastic containers, okay? The same goes for tea.
All right.
Use glass or ceramic containers instead.
Thank you, Master, for the reminder.
All right, Master, those are some exquisite Celadon teapots and teacups.
Yes.
Yes, we have it here too. Thank you, Master.
So refreshing.
Thank you, Master, for the chance to purchase these beautiful tea sets on cibin.com. With the medicine Buddha's birthday approaching, you should get a set and brew your tea in it.
It keeps disasters away and extends life.
Every family should have this.
So, What is the treasure that could extend life? It's Pu-erh tea.
Our Pu-erh Tea.
Also,
We also have a series of very cute tea pets.
Yes, I see it. Look at this. They are really adorable, with different little animals. Each little animal has its own auspicious meaning. They bring us different inspirations. For example, on the master's table, there's a meditating frog. Yes, it's called the Zen frog. Even a frog is working hard. So you have no excuse to be lazy. This frog will remind you to work hard every day. And be kinder.
for the horse. A galloping horse symbolize boundless prospects. And cows? Cows symbolize great fortune and prosperity. What about dragon babies? They symbolize success for our children. How wonderful! All these are auspicious meanings.
They bring us beautiful blessings.
Thank you, Master.
Sipping tea while gaining enlightenment.
Received.
Alright, thank you very much, Master, for sharing so much with us about the health benefits of tea.
Shanka, do you have any other questions?
And also, we are very grateful to those who sponsor our live streams every time. Master, can you give everyone a blessing?
Sincere blessings to all who sponsor our live streams and our channel, as well as Bodhi meditation. May your families be happy.
Received.
May you have health and longevity.
Received.
May you be wealthy and prosperous.
Received.
May your family prosper.
Received.
May your children succeed.
Received.
May you gain all these beautiful blessings.
Thank you, Master.
Also, a reminder to our viewers about our next live stream. It will be on October 6, 2024, Taipei time. It's Sunday at 7 p.m. Vancouver time will be October 6th, at 4 a.m. We look forward to another session of wonderful content.
May you be happy and auspicious.
Received.
May you be healthy.
Received.
See you in the next live stream.
Thank you, Master.
在茫茫人海之中，让我与您相遇。小小的红点里，人生就此欢喜。我快乐了，我健康了，我幸福了，我美丽了。在茫茫人海之中，让我与你相遇。小小的红点里，人生变得神奇。我智慧了。